Texas soil beneath your feet held every hope deep. Now shattered streets cry back your name for wreckage piled in silence steep. No warning came, just rising flood, and when that wailed through broken stone, we traced your steps in water's path and found the truth beyond their wrath. Who paid the clouds to come so soon? Who wrote that thunder's cruel tone? We bury the fall and raise the truth, and hell won't silence what we knew. You don't see the sky and call it care when silver leaves the land threadbare. They whispered science into the air, then blamed the wind and disappeared. This rain ain't holy, it's haunts a storm, don't lie, but men do. And the water didn't weep, it roared with the voices it ran through. This wasn't nature. Nature's fierce, but she don't silence us like that. She doesn't take fathers, mothers, children and leave us tracing their names in the mud. This flood came paid for, planned, and what it took we can never get back. You didn't just move the clouds, you moved the line between life and death. You took voices, laughter, futures. You took lives that can never be replaced. You left your fingerprints in the flood, your silence won't shield you. We know. And we won't let go. And we remember every face, every name. Just look at what you did. Who paid the clouds to come so fast? Who penned murder in the forecast? We mourn, we march, we make it right. Truth rides the storm tonight. We lit candles on driftwood altars, raised prayers louder than thunder, and we vow beneath this floodline's mark, you won't wash away the truth, not this time. Look what you did. You don't mess with Texas. You don't mess with any of us. You didn't break us, you exposed yourself. Look what you did. You'll answer for it.
Glad to have everybody on. Let me make sure everything's set up here before we start. Let me check this off. Let's get the comments on the screen. Thank you for another great song, Linda. So we got Rumble up, YouTube, .com is good, Facebook, looking pretty good.
Yeah, that was a beautiful song, Linda. Powerful.
We're back. I told you we'd be back.
Back.
So tonight's show is going to be we're going to dig into a little bit more of the flood here in Texas and some historical events in the past and maybe even some movies, some comms, stuff like that. Glad to have everybody here. Everybody's doing good. 7/9/2025. And let's get started. So I watched the movie today. We shared it out.
It was called The Flood. Who's going to save the children? It was about the flood that happened there near Camp Mystic back in 1987. And there's a lot of columns in there.
We might play a few minutes of it.
Yeah.
Let's go into that first. And then we'll go into the, we'll pull from the movie.
So
And then-
the .com's not working.
Yeah, you can check it. It says green on here.
Okay. Let me check it.
Doing multiple different topics of research, but right now we're just going to stay focused on Texas. Here's some of the columns right here. You're going to see this in the movie as well. One of the characters is Scotty. He's a cancer. He has cancer. Kerr, because we're talking about Kerrville. All right.
The .com is working, so you might need a refresh.
Can they hear us on the .com? I think they normally
Yeah,
figure it out.
I just checked it.
All right. Kerr is the name of English and Scottish origin, meaning thicket or marsh,
Like swamp.
like swamp, referring to someone who lived near a wet area overgrown with brushwood. It is derived from the Middle English word Kerr and the Old Norse Kajar, but we want to look at the Scottish because we're talking about a Freemasonic ritual, right? 33 people died in 87. There's your comms on that one. I think they even made a monument. Where's that? Let's see if I got it. Go down
That's
here.
go up.
Oh, this is okay, up.
Yeah, there's a lot on there.
You got the 33 on here somewhere. No, I got it. Give me a second. Let me open the movie. Here it is right here on the plaque. We got the 33 comms as well. Scottish Rite is 32 though.
Somebody was asking about Mike. Mike's still at home healing and spending time with his family as he should. So keep up the prayers for him.
Yeah, when you have to reevaluate things at times, sometimes when you don't know, or if you're uncertain about certain things, right? It makes you reevaluate certain things, and you tend to spend more time with your family for sure. And I'm not saying that's what he told me. That's my own belief. Is sometimes you have to be flagged, when you're in that position. But let's keep it moving. Let's watch a little bit of this. Here's the movie. Who Will Save Our Children is the title. Who Will Save Our Children? And some of the characters from that we've seen on the rescue is going to be in this movie, and everything that was said. The boy with the cast, the heroes, all that stuff.
And yeah, Camp Mystic was a Freemason lodge. Well, it was for initiates to go into Freemason. It was all girls, but this movie's based on Camp Pot o' Gold, which was right down from Camp Mystic, and they got flooded,
Yeah,
and
see,
a lot of them died.
this is what we're
But
talking about.
Camp Mystic seemed to miraculously stay intact. Just like now, the media is saying it was wiped away. We did the aerial views and all the photos, and it's not wiped away. It's there. But some of the stuff downstream did.
Well, let me pull up. There's flying above it. Sea flood aftermath. Okay. All right. Then we got. All right, let's do this. So Camp Mystic in Texas is a Freemason camp for daughters of the Texas elite. We just had Ted Cruz's daughter. He picked up his daughter a week before, which is crazy. It seems like Ted Cruz seems to be ahead of the game or aware of something.
Stuff what they can't have cell phones.
Right. So Ted Cruz says he picked up his daughter from camp in Texas area about a week ago, and then he
From
took
Camp
off,
Mystic, yeah.
and then they went to Greece on vacation from that point. So this brings us back to 2021. Ted Cruz under fire for vacation right when we were in the middle of a freeze and the power was out. Everybody was freezing. He took his family to Mexico, Cancun, to stay warm. But here we are again. He's doing the same shit. Ted Cruz picked up his daughter from camp in Texas a week ago. Then he's in Greece while everything's being flooded on vacation. And here we go. They have a strict at the Camp Mystic in Texas has a strict no Wi-Fi policy for campers. They do not allow campers to bring any electronic devices that have Wi-Fi capabilities. Touchscreens, cameras, no video or gaming features. This includes cell phones, even with SIM cards removed. It's not on. Let me check it. .com's not good. Oh, that's weird. Let me remove this. Let me fix the .com real quick. Let's try this again. One second. All right, give me a few seconds and it should be up on the .com. Let's do that. Save. I hope that was the right one. Let me see. Yeah, it should be it. Yep. All right. Let me know if it's up. All right. Thank you, Debbie. We're checking it right now. Should be up any minute, any second. It's still not up. Should be. Should be. How about now? I think it should boom. Something just changed somewhere. Texas here, but out in the county. Not my app. I didn't. Oh, okay. Huh. I see and hear it. Facebook. Nope. Nothing. Huh. We can watch it on Facebook.
Is Facebook working?
Yeah, Facebook's good. Rumble's good. YouTube.
Just not .com. Someone said no on Facebook. And then someone said, yeah, we can watch on Facebook. Okay. I don't know why the .coms are working.
All right, let me try this again. Let me turn this off. Remove. All right. Save. Remove. Here we go. All right. Now let's add it again. All right. Um, 1 second. Here we go. All right.
Make sure to save this.
There. Here we go. Let's check that.
This is the brain, and these are the 12 nerves of the brain, the 12 cranial nerves. These are the 12 disciples that Jesus sends down into the circuit of Galilee to preach to the Gentiles. Remember the Gentiles that you're supposed to kill, those Perizzites and Jebusites? That's your lower nature. Light has a lower nature. That's what we call evil. And that's down there. This is hell. The heart is the middle earth, and then this is the heaven. You see, you go up into the heaven. The right brain, the intuitive, well, there's the two hemispheres of the brain. See that? That's the corpus callosum. That's the Red Sea. The children of Israel, to get to the Holy Land, must cross the corpus callosum. You must cross from the left brain into the right brain to get back to the Garden of Eden or the Holy Land. And guess where it is? Here. There it is in the head. The head is here. So when the sun finally comes into exaltation, it's in Aries and Taurus in the head. And what has happened is we have a chance of passing into the Holy Land. It's in the head.
All right, we're good on the .com? No. If not, we have to keep. I don't understand. Still no? All right, let me. Here's the .com now. Yeah, apparently .com's not working, but all right. So we see the Freemasonic camp. We see the 33 victims of the flood in '87.
You can have Marlon upload.
And CM initials. C would be a 3, third letter, and you got the M is a 3, turned sideways. Mason. 13th letter. All right.
It says not only do they form a little
Yeah. Let me just go ahead and read it all. How about that? Is this where it starts? Yeah, right here. So the floods in Central Texas right now are truly devastating, and our hearts and prayers go out to everyone currently suffering from this catastrophe. One of the places that was washed away from the flooding Guadalupe River is Camp Mystic, an all-girls camp for the rich and powerful in Texas. I want to clarify before providing some facts about this particular camp that I believe all Christian youth camps are evil. Family camps may be okay in part of the world system run by Satan. I have actually learned this by experience. Never put your children into a place, including schools and even Sunday schools, where you have no oversight over them, leaving them in the hands of others. Here are some interesting facts about Camp Mystic from an article in Texas Monthly from 2011. Emphasis, mine. The Not So Happy Campers excerpts. There was a point on the long drive to hunt from Dallas or Houston or even San Antonio where the cities and suburbs fall away and the limestone hills dotted with cedar and mountain laurel reveal the emerald green Guadalupe River. You pass through Kerrville, turn south on Texas Highway 39, and follow the river until you see on your left the Iron Gate with the initials CM, the entrance of Camp Mystic. Here, on about 725 acres, the sky is almost blinding blue, flecked with red-tailed hawks, herons nestled in the cypress trees by the water. Atop Sky High, one of the camp's highest points, you can see for miles and miles while your horse nibbles the grass. The river on scalding afternoons is warm on top of and cool plunge below. At nights, it's chilly enough to need a blanket and bright enough to read by the moonlight. And a girl lying in her bunk in hangover cabin might see, written on the ceiling above her, the name of her mother or aunt or even grandmother. So it's like a generational thing.
Yeah, it's been there since 1924.
Like their mama went, their grandma went.
Or 1942. Maybe I got that.
1930s.
Yeah. It's been there a long time.
So you ask almost any woman who has attended Camp Mystic for her memories of summer, and she will respond with, well, mystical joy. For those whose recollections of camp involve bullying and blood-sucking insects, this may be a baffling sentiment. But for the generations of females aged 8 to 17 who have crowded the unair-conditioned cabins of the girls-only camp since 1939, Mystic is a haven. There is fried chicken every Sunday. Cabins have names like Wiggle Inn and Chatterbox. But the word mystic is embezzled on Sky High with jury-rigged light bulbs. The camp has always served as a near-flawless training ground for archetypal Texas women for the current fee of $4,375 for a 30-day session. Mystic girls learn to shoot rifles, ride horses, catch bass, hike in August sun without complaint, and face down a rattlesnake or two. A long line of notable alumni reveals the kind of girl that Mystic attracts, like Mary Martin, who famously played a stridingly, tirelessly cheerful boy who was the first celebrity camper. She was followed by the daughters of Governors Prince Daniel, Dan Moody, and John Conley. JFK, right?
Yeah.
So LBJ's daughters and granddaughters and great-granddaughters attended. James Baker sent a daughter and a granddaughter. Laura Bush worked as a counselor between terms at Southern Methodist University. Mystic girls say their camp days prepare them for the real world. They become executives for Neiman Marcus. They dance with London's Royal Ballet. They own a Gymboree franchise in the former Soviet Union, or marry well and become the kind of intensely focused volunteers who would probably be happier as CEOs. But most important, Mystic girls make friendships that last forever. Not only do they form a Mystic mafia that stretches all over the world, but they also help one another get into Kappa Kappa Gamma at the University of Texas, the Junior League, and, if need be, a clinical trial at MD Anderson. There are other equally famous camps in Texas for boys as well as girls. You got Camp Waldmar, Camp Longhorn, and Camp Champions, to name a few. All welcome the seasonal migration of heat-addled city kids. But for those women most attached to Mystic, and there are a lot of them, there was a primeval oasis that offered the time, love, and space to find themselves. I don't care where my granddaughter goes to college, but I do care where she goes to camp, Mystic alumni Catherine Jones told me. Although they have been upgraded for over the years, most of Mystic's buildings date to its earliest days when Stacy, almost like Dick Tracy.
Yeah.
Dick Stacy and Nancy's grandmother, Agnes Doran Stacy, owned the camp. One of the few things that the siblings agreed on is that AG, as she was known, was a character. The Devante, daughter of a prominent Dallas banker and the youngest of 10 children, AG demanded that her father send her to college instead of finishing school, but he refused. In turn, AG displayed the kind of resourcefulness Mystic girls would become famous for. She went to one of her father's competitors for a college loan. Her father was so mortified that he paid the note and allowed AG to attend the University of Texas at Austin in 1915, where she distinguished herself as a great beauty as one of the school's first physical education majors. Women, AG believed, missed out by being excluded from sports. They never got physically strong or learned to lead and compete in healthy ways. AG got to test her theories when Anne Morgan, the daughter of J.P. Morgan, invited her to France to help with efforts to rebuild the country after World War I. Among Mystic alumni, Iney, I-N-E-Y, and AG inspire the kind of hero worship usually reserved for Eleanor Roosevelt. AG was sophisticated and sharp-tongued. AG had been all over the world and knew how to decapitate a rattlesnake with a hoe. Her favorite song was My Man, which she performed at a cappella for her girls, and in the 60s she bullied LBJ into getting off the phone when it looked as if he was going to be late for one of his daughters Lucy's camp presentations. Oh, Lucy, I'm home. So to say she had any inhibitions would be overstating it, Stacy told me. Iney, who had no children of her own, was by contrast the wise, loving grandmother who possessed an abundance of common sense and patience. She could bring a girl into line with a simple shake of the head and the phrase, "That's not Mystic." So that's what he wrote. So Christian summer camps like Camp Mystic, you got to read the definition of Mystic, are usually summer experiences designed to find the brightest and best students still in grade school through high school, and then get them into Freemason's system to get them into the best college and universities in the U.S., where they would join Freemasonic fraternities for men and sororities for women. These clubs then propel their members into the highest levels of business and politics. The two Bush presidents, for example, came out of the Skull and Bones fraternity at Yale. And then you have his wife working at Camp Mystic.
Yes.
The Chinese chapter produced Mao Zedong.
Huh.
Right here. Is this his
What
wife?
does
Can
it
you
say?
click this?
The Rothschilds controlled Mao with funding organized by
Mao was a Yale man.
Israel Epstein, who was also chief propagandist and wrote Mao, Little Red Book. Wow.
So this is the rabbit hole of, it still goes Epstein, Israel, all connects. That's why we're talking about the Epstein list.
Yeah.
That's why we're talking about Camp Mystic.
It's all tied.
All tied, it's all the same.
says Chairman Mao was student and dean of Yale, China. Several of initial U.S. ambassadors to China were Yale Skull and Bones member. The first was George Bush. Y'all.com is not
It's 300 years.
right now, so we'll have to have Marlon upload it afterwards. But we have Rumble, Facebook, and YouTube.
You can share them out on the link. So once adults, these summer youth camps are replaced by other summer camp experiences for the influential and wealthy people, such as the Sun Valley Conference for Billionaires, the Bilderberg Group, and Bohemian Grove. So Kappa Kappa Gamma was one of the first female campus sororities formed, and as Article 1 quoted above stated, Mystic Camp girls developed connections to get into local chapters in Texas. And that's why, Bush became governor, right? Seems to be but here's the Mao Skull and Bones connection.
Old this year, and were you to visit its campus, you would see that it still has exotic clubhouses, which look like tombs where Yale's legendary secret societies meet. Their prestige and importance have largely evaporated, but the rituals are still a secret. And so when we heard that some enterprising characters had managed to spy on the famous Skull and Bones Society, we couldn't resist. Here's ABC's Dan Harris.
The videotape provides a grainy glimpse into what appear to be the initiation rituals of a secret society that's been around since 1832, whose members have gone on to be leaders of Wall Street and the White House, the Senate and the Supreme Court.
They're sort of trying to scare the initiates, make them, disorient them, frighten them.
New York Observer investigative reporter Ron Rosenbaum accompanied a team of Yale students who shot these pictures 9 days ago. Rosenbaum's curiosity about Skull and Bones was permanently piqued when, as a classmate of George W. Bush, he lived right next to the Tomb, the group's heavily fortified home. From their perch, Rosenbaum and his cohorts taped the Tomb's courtyard. What they captured, they say, was initiates, known as neophytes, being forced to kiss a skull, then members performing a mock killing. It may look like your average fraternity nonsense, but Rosenbaum says it's not.
Even though it may seem silly to us, it seems to mean something to them, and you can't argue with the success of Skull and Bones.
True. Famous alums include senators John Kerry and John Chafee, to name two, cabinet secretaries such as Averell Harriman, and 3 presidents, William Taft, George Bush, and George W. Bush, who's been reluctant to talk about Skull and Bones.
Does it still exist? The thing is so secret, I'm not even sure it still exists.
In recent years, by many accounts, the on-campus influence and allure of Skull and Bones has waned dramatically, and there is no proof that the rituals recently caught on videotape are the same ones performed by the current president. Still, Rosenbaum says the tape is a valuable artifact, an extremely rare view into the secret society that groomed the American ruling class for generations. Dan Harris, ABC News, New York.
It started really in the first half of the 19th century, when first batch of Yale graduates went to China in the 1830s as educators and missionaries. So Peter Parker collaborated with Lan Kwang, who was a Chinese artist, and they did some very explicit documentation of diseases, which became a very valuable source for training Yale medical students, and in fact, for training medical students in the West, starting in 1850, when the first Chinese student called Yan Wing, who entered Yale College and graduated in 1854. He then went back to China and persuaded the Qing court to bring more students back to Yale and to New England. And those students later on played a very influential role in modernization of China. In 1917, when Fudan was transformed from a college to a university, its founding president, Li Denghui, actually was a Yale graduate, class of 1899. Li Denghui played a very influential role in establishing the university and introduced lots of Yale's philosophy in running the university. And that was very influential in establishing Fudan as one of the best universities in China. And of course, since then, there are lots of exchange activities have occurred. And for example, in modern days, in 2003, Yale established a Yale Fudan Developmental Biology Center, and that center has played a very important role, both in promoting Fudan's research in developmental biology and also in expanding our research here at Yale, the Yale-China Association, which was established in 1901. And now, over more than 100 years now, this association has played a very important role in training teachers and medical practitioners in China as an exemplary case of placing the schools in Changsha, a big city in the middle part of China. And this continuous training has been going on now for over 100 years, and today is still going very strong. It's amazing to see that, there are actually 96 exchange programs going on between Yale and China, involving 26 different departments at Yale and 44 universities in China. This relationship is truly beneficial to both sides. To China, by having this relationship, it benefited tremendously from the most advanced thinking, knowledge, and practice. And moreover, Yale also helped China to train a number of very important leaders in diverse fields of the society. And for Yale, the first advantage is that the students and scholars from China on Yale campus, they directly contribute by their talent to Yale's research, intellectual power, and cultural life. By tapping into that vast resource, Yale's research activities have further opportunities to flourish. China really is the largest country in the world, representing nearly 1/4 of the world. So that gives Yale a direct and privileged opportunity to investigate and study that world. By training some of the leaders in China over centuries, Yale truly exercised its influence to that very important part of the world. And that to me is very important to position Yale as truly a global leader in higher education.
Do you like him? Why not? 为什么? President of Taiwan? What's his name? You don't know? Read this. Yale. Group. Spurs. Mouths. Emergence. 出来. Mao came because of Yale Group. Yale 是 before World War II, there was no CIA. But then, that time, there was a group in Yale Daxue called Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones became the CIA later. And so, when Mao was a very young boy, they found him and they gave him a job in Shanghai as the librarian. This article is about the story. This is from Yale Daxue, their website. This is just from Yale University website. And why they find him, why they want to make him very powerful, was many people do not like Kuomintang. After the 1911 revolution, 很多人不喜欢. So those people begin to prepare the China of today.
they begin to find someone to deity or replace Jiang Zhongzheng. Well, that time not yet Jiang Zhongzheng, but they also, during World War II, they gave Chiang Kai-shek, Jiang Zhongzheng, many bad weapons, lots of garbage bullets that don't work, and they have lots of Métis that says, "Oh, Jiang Zhongzheng is buhao, and we can't help him." Those are the international banks. What now is really the Illuminati, Guangminghui people that want to make China into a Gongchangdang Qingquang, like a communist thing for a test. Because in the future, they want to make the whole world become just like China. 全世界变成中国大陆一样. First, Dalu was the test. And so that's why Mao Zedong was put there to be the leader. 不是毛泽东自己创造中国, but they begin to teach him. 耶鲁大学, Skull and Bones. 你可以自己叫, you go watch a movie called The Good Shepherd. Robert De Niro, The Good Shepherd, tells you about the Skull and Bones. And it's
Robert De Niro,
Good Shepherd.
The Good Shepherd, The Omen 3.
Yeah.
What is it? The Final Battle? The Final
Battle.
something like that.
very interesting because what this means is that your country actually has a very important destiny. 我相信你们的命运很重要. And that some very bad people hate you. And they hated the Kuomintang. I'm not saying Kuomintang was perfect. You know, KMT was not perfect, but better than him. Do you want him? Or do you want him? Who do you want? You know, a lot of people think, oh, he was bad. He was a Hitler. I don't think he was a Hitler. I think he was just a human, and he was fighting the Japanese, he was fighting the communists, and the Americans didn't want to help him anymore. Because she found the Inghang male Bangtaman. They stopped helping him. So that's why I'm standing in this classroom and I have his picture here. I think he's a pretty good guy. When I was in America, I saw his face and I felt like he was saying, come to Taiwan. I was like, okay, I will come to Taiwan. Okay. And I think he was a Christian too. Did you know he was a Christian? 他也是相信耶稣的人. So anyway, what's the future of this country? I don't know, but it's very special and I hope you will understand who this guy was.
All right.
So he was a Christian.
So one. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Kappa Kappa Gamma was one of the first female. I think the .com's working.
Yeah, I just checked. It's up now.
It was one of the first. Are we too far in? No, I go back and look at the title, and then what we're going over. We're not too far in. You might have read just a little bit of reading, but we're talking about the Camp Mystic in Texas. Is a Freemason camp for the daughters of the Texas elite. Ted Cruz just picked up his daughter there about a week ago, and then went on vacation into Greece while the floods came about. Last time he did that was in 2021 when he took his family to Cancun when we lost power and we were freezing to death for 3 days, 4 days, a couple days.
Yeah.
Some people died and he took his family off to Cancun. He caught hell for it. He did it the same thing again here recently. Picked his daughter up a week in advance. So we're going to go back down here. I don't think you missed anything because we're past them out. So we're covering the fact that some of the people that come out of these camps end up in fraternities, secret societies, certain positions in the chain, right? They do rituals, like death rituals, like you've seen at Yale. They pretend or mock, kill. Maybe that was probably real. Who knows?
Maybe they really do, just like at
So these are
Bohemian Grove.
so they're all about sacrificing their firstborn or their child, or like they take it literally. They do things literally.
Yeah, they still do what they did back in the biblical times, right?
Yeah. So once adults, these summer youth camps are replaced by other summer camps experiences for the influential, wealthy people, such as the Sun Valley Conference for Billionaires. We'll share that. The Bilderberg Group, you've heard of that, and the Bohemian Grove. Kappa Kappa Gamma was one of the first female campus sororities formed, as the article I quoted above stated, Mystic Camp girls developed connections to get into local chapters in Texas. We stated all the attendees. Laura Bush, Kappa Kappa Gamma has a membership of more than 260,000 women, with 140 collegiate chapters in the United States and Canada, and 307 alumni associations worldwide. Got the source. Mystic Camp's website has been mostly unreachable since the flood started, but you can view it at an archive.org for now. It is listed as a private camp, but they are required to be licensed by the Texas Health and Human Services, the Texas Department of State Health and Human Services, the Texas Department of State Health Services, DSHS, is the principal authority on matters relating to health and safety conditions at DSHS licensed youth camps in Texas. All DSHS qualifying youth camps must obtain a license prior to operating. Any youth camp may be inspected during operations to determine compliance with the Youth Camp Safety and Health Act and the youth camp rules. It is truly amazing how almost all facets of life in the U.S. come under the government control of Health and Human Services, as we learned all too well during the COVID years. Also, that property is federally owned, ain't it?
Yeah, it was owned by the federal government during World War II, and then it transferred over to, I think that was the Stacy family, but still part of it's owned by the federal government. So,
Right.
But they used it for soldiers to relax and kind of like a retreat, which is kind of weird.
Here we have the Evil Eye, Star of Rafan, 666, Mark of the Beast. The Bewitching of America with the Evil Eye and the Mark
It's
of the
the
Beast.
Rephaim, the Star of Rephaim, not David.
This is Jesus' opposition to Jewish state lesson for today. Let's see. Where's the article? Oh, it's all this. So here's your numbers again. Like we said, 33 in 1987. Right? That's what we're talking about. You see that a lot.
Yeah, that's the Scottish Rite.
Hillary
right there.
Clinton's 33,000 emails.
It's the double-headed eagle.
It's all comms. Yeah, double red tie, blue tie.
Yeah.
Talking out both sides. Two-headed. Can't serve two masters, right?
That's right.
See the crown. Pyramid scheme. See Pam Bondi doing this today. When she's fixing her hair.
When she flips her
When
hair.
she flips her hair back, watch her hands and her fingers. She's doing this today.
Yeah, she did it today.
Nobody catches that. I catch it. But Pam Bondi did that today. Hidden hand. Son of the master of the second bell. So there's a second bell, huh? Fauci, hidden hand comms, remember during COVID?
Yeah. Secret.
It's one big club. And symbolism is going to be their downfall, right? Didn't we have Netanyahu trying to recommend Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize for bombing Iran? Here's your president right here. This is no matter who your president is, this guy's in charge. That's what's going on. So your Epstein list, Mossad, and Netanyahu are connected. It's a favor, right? Where's the rest of it? Oh, here's the COM 666. This is your big, beautiful build, or build back better. Lowercase b's.
Six
It's in your
pointed
logo.
stars, 6-sided hexagon, and 6 triangles.
Google. Double king sign. Divine king is what they're saying. You see the 6 or the 9 right here. It's coming down 9. And it does 3. Like it's spinning. Simon Says game. Remember that?
Yeah.
Ain't this the Simon Says
Yeah,
layout?
sure is.
The mark of the beast is everywhere.
Like,
Medical. It's in everything, right? The staff. What the heck that's going on there, but I think that's it for the article. Yeah. Remember the Boy Scouts of America and all the stuff that was going on there in the Girl Scouts?
oh yeah.
How that got covered up? Did y'all hear about there's a lot of stuff that isn't being talked about that's going on. I guess it's this guy's right here is talking about the Boy Scouts. He was in the Boy Scouts. Boy Scouts of America and the Order of the Arrow are organizations that Hunter owned and operated under Freemasonic satanic rule. These organizations bring homo spirits and devils into the young men through rituals and Native American Indian lore nonsense, they say. God showed him a vision, he said. And he says that it has origins, pagan origins. But anyways, so there's the symbolism on that. So Camp Mystic, you can't bring. They had a strict no Wi-Fi policy for campers. They do not allow campers to bring any electronic devices that have Wi-Fi capabilities, touchscreens, cameras, video, or gaming features. This includes cell phones, even with the SIM cards removed, iPod touches, iPads, Apple Watches, or any of those smart watches, all the stuff, devices that may track them, being able to record or take pictures. Apple Watches or other smart watches, digital cameras or video cameras, including GoPros, no e-readers like Kindles or Nooks. Acceptable electronic devices are limited to devices that only play music, such as an inexpensive MP3 players or older generation iPods with touchscreens, and CD players. Disposable cameras are also allowed. All right.
So why wouldn't they want to have any kind of devices?
And was it for 30 days?
Yes, for 30 days.
So the rationale behind this policy is to encourage campers to unplug and be fully present in the camp experience, right? This helps prevent the loss or damage of valuable electronics and fosters a more immersed camp environment, allowing campers to live in the moment. While staff members are permitted to have electronic devices, they are only allowed to use them during their personal time. Which is, I guess that's kind of good.
Camp Mystic has a 20-year history of theme camp at Burning Man. We are a medley of creative talent and energy, inspired by a sense of mystery and wonder. This is from their website. We perceive the consciousness of we are all one. Mystics encourage the inanimate spirit to explore a deeper connection not only on this planet and all that exists within, but the realm of the entire universe. Camp Mystic is an ongoing experiment in power of friendship, love, artistic expression, commitment, and exploration into the furthest reach of human development and beyond. Celebration is a pursuit of happiness with meaning in what is maintained this community year after year.
Oh, let's play a little bit of the. Oh, this goes with it. Mystic Pizza, 1988.
Yes, and then in the movie.
In the movie from 1988, called Mystic Pizza, Aunt Susan Shepard is playing Aunt Tweety. Tweety is one of the owner's wives' name, right?
Yes.
So Tweety Eastland, who is one of the owners and executive directors of Camp Mystic, is from Texas. Tweety. You go to here, this movie here.
And he was the director.
And I'll play a clip of it here in a minute.
For 50 years there.
Here, let me get it to load real quick. This little clip. It's a little really weird movie. So you watch the trailer and you don't know what the movie's about, but if you know the comms and the communications and what they're talking about, it makes a little bit more sense. But if you so this is of course you got the 88 again, but when we go to the comments, where's the comments? Let me open this up real quick. So we have right here, it says, after viewing this trailer, I have no idea what this movie's about. I guess some pizza joint employees that do some stuff. But if you know Mystic Pizza, this was made right after the event, right, in 87?
Yes.
This was a year later. We're going to pick up on the, you got the 88 in there?
Daisy and JoJo, 3 women, each with a different idea about love.
If he really loved me, he'd wait.
Right there, a slice of heaven.
With a pizza. With a piece of pizza.
But I guess if I really loved him, I'd marry him.
JoJo's lost her head.
JoJo's 1010.
You think this gonna make me marry you? Do you? Well, it's not, because I don't have to marry an ass. It's the
And then we go back to the
See what it says there?
nympho. The subliminal messaging, right? NY from M PhD. Maybe they got a PhD.
Oh, that's O.
Well, I know, but that's how they do it. Yeah, just looking. Yeah. There we go.
It's the 80s.
Daisy lost her mind.
I'm gonna kill him, you stupid! My car!
Daisy, this is Serena Windsor, my sister.
Hi.
And Kat.
What was that, sardine she dumped on the card?
Just lost her heart.
We talk, we read, we listen to Mozart sometimes. You really believe this 30-year-old guy is gonna leave his wife and live happily ever after with you? You're living in a romance novel. Joe, you've got Bill. You've apparently got brains. All I've got is this and these. If you say that word one more time, I'm gonna scream.
Married.
Don't worry about me. I'm gonna be slinging pizza for the rest of my life. The best pizza!
Mystic Pizza.
What the hell do you think Leona really puts in that pizza?
What do you think
What the hell do you think they really put in that pizza?
Yeah. That's kind of creepy.
Mystic Pizza. What the hell do you think they really put in that pizza?
Really puts in that pizza.
Life's the best pizza, Mystic Pizza. What the hell do you think they, it says Lona, but really put in the pizza? And
It's love with the word pizza.
How do you
and
think
then we see also the heart logo, right? As well as when you know the symbolism.
the owner really puts in that pizza?
It's love with the works.
It's love with the works. The story makes no sense. Like the guy said, what the hell was this movie
They're
about?
talking to each other.
You can go watch The Pizza Man, 1992 as well. Might go with that. But so there's the Mystic Pizza thing. So that's that movie and the cast, Aunt Tweety.
Susan Shepard.
Which is Tweety Eastland, who's one of the owners of the camp.
And executive
She's from Texas. She's also been involved with the camp since 1974, and it has been in her family since 1939. Crazy connection in that. So Camp Mystic disaster plan approved with 2 days before the Central Texas flood killed dozens.
Yeah.
I'm just going to open that one. We're doing it. What am I looking for? Yep, Lady Bird Johnson. Some campers have been children or grandchildren of Texas governors. Price Daniel, Dan Moody, John Connolly was with the JFK connection right there. First Lady, so Laura Bush worked as counselor at the camp while she was in college, and Lady Bird Johnson attended events at the camp. So like everybody that was involved in this JFK assassination attended the camp.
Right. Yeah, there's a former campers right there.
I mean, right here. Rosebud Baker, American comedian and actress. Pamela Brown, American TV reporter, newscaster, born 1983. There's Lucy Bain Johnson. That must be an American businesswoman, philanthropist, and a daughter. Yeah, Lucy. Hello, Lucy.
And daughter of President Johnson. Mary Martin.
1994.
Singer and actress. And Linda Bird Johnson, First Lady of Virginia, daughter of Lyndon B. Johnson.
1944. So what? Hold on. Right here.
In 1937, the camp was purchased by the Stacy family, who maintained ownership ever since. Since 1939, the camp has been an all-girls camp. By 1934 and until at least June 1942, the camp hosted a 10-day aquatic school led by Red Cross. Although the camp is Christian, some Jewish Texans also send their children there. And there were no Jewish summer camps in the area in the 1930s. The camp paused operations during World War II, and from 1943 to 1945, when it functioned as a rest and relaxation site for soldiers, offering 2 6-week sessions. Following the war, the camp began offering 2 sessions each summer.
So when was Operation Paperclip? Was that 43 to 45? What was going? Something was going on. 43, 45. They were taking supposed prisoners of war and setting them up in
Right, they were actually,
rooms and
yes,
kind of like the narrative they're running today, where they say they're setting up the people crossing the border in rooms. But they did that to the Nazis.
Yes.
Here, and then they put them in positions within our government, NASA, stuff like that, their government. So right? Jewish Texan. I guess that's why probably Ted Cruz showed up.
That was 1945.
All right, so here's a little bit of the movie. We're going to go look at it.
Is when they started bringing them over there, 1945.
Keep in mind while we're watching it, the unlearned lessons from 1987 that came back to haunt it. Do it again on 4th of July. I mean, that was a ritualistic date, wasn't it?
Yes.
To steal the energy.
Because the portal opened at July 4th this year. And because the real Constitution wasn't signed until, it was actually produced July 2nd, but they didn't sign it until July 4th because of the energies on that date. But they sign everything on the alignments.
Same thing with the bills.
Yeah, same thing with all the bills.
Same thing with the Epstein.
They do everything by alignments, numbers, gematria.
The timing of this.
Symbols.
Yeah. Just the whole timing of this Epstein thing and this Texas thing, and then it's all connected one way or another. And you think it's not, but it is separate. You think it's separate events or separate, like they're just random events. They're not. Wait, let's look at the video. There's the movie, The Flood. Who Will Save the Children? Our movie. We're going to watch a little bit of this. Show you some of the stuff that we pick up on here. The mocking. I think it's It's mocking Christians.
Yeah.
I think it's you got to ask yourself who came up with the storyline to tell to lead up to it. Who filled in those gaps? Because everybody's pretty much gone, right?
Right.
If you tell the story, so you got to ask who wrote the story. What was their motive? What angle? Why are they showing it in this light? You see some mockery in here. I'll point it out, but you'll pick up on it. Here we got it. Whenever they make a movie about an event, it's usually to fortify their narrative that the final police report came up with, right? The final, whatever their version. They make a movie. Same thing with Flight 93 and 9/11. The Titanic, same thing. They make a movie, and it's not the truth. It's further from it. So when you realize that, but see, most people didn't realize in 1987 that their government was doing things like this, and this is how the CIA, Skull and Bones, people operate.
Put it right in your face with all their symbolisms in it.
So we got some symbolisms in here. I got a soccer ball. I got Scotty. He's one of the characters. He has cancer. And
That's probably the alignment.
Right. And he's bald headed, so it's kind of like some moon stuff going on there. But anyways, let me play the rest. You'll see.
Teacher, we bought you. Just keep in mind while we're watching this also that you don't hear about the people downstream in these events. It's always
a certain area or a certain.
This was Camp Pot of Gold.
Right.
This happened, which was what they say, 15 miles
Yeah, it's
from
right around.
Camp Mystic.
Yeah. There's a bunch of camps in that area. Right there is the boy in the cast. This is part of the videos we showed yesterday from the scene, the pilot that rescued a bunch of people and the interviews. They brought up the boy in the cast.
That dropped the gold.
It's right.
Well, now, being as how it's our last day, Brother Coons has asked me if he could say a few words. Brother Coons.
Coons was the bus driver that is still alive today.
You got that? So we're going to show you Coons real quick so you can identify, so you have a, where's he at? You posted that article, didn't you?
Yeah.
Coons is,
Go ahead.
hold on.
It was a video.
All right. Just, we'll show you Coons here in a minute, but he is the main character. He's still alive today, right?
Yes. And the director is the one that died.
So this guy still made it.
Thank you, Pastor.
All right, here we go.
Thank you. And thank you for that sincere display of affection from the last row. Well, I think we've all had a pretty good time here. I'd like to thank Coach Clark and all the other counselors. They've done a great job. I think they deserve your applause. You younger kids who are here for the first time, we've seen you all spread your wings and grow. And the older ones, we've seen you develop some leadership skills. But this whole week boils down to one thing, folks, and that's friendship. That's what we're about. I know some of you have made friendships that will last you for the rest of your lives.
All right, so here's that guy. They're running in. They're fixing to. The Coons is right here. Excuse me. Right here on the left. He's a Reverend Richard.
Yeah, he's
Dick Coons.
Runs a church in Dallas.
Right.
I'm next in the line, single file on the right. Everybody will get to eat.
I get home, the first thing I'm going to do is eat some real food. Yeah, we can go to the mall. Yeah. Leanne. Oh my God. Don't stop. You think I'm looking. You are looking. Go get a drink. Are you crazy? This is your last chance. Now go for it. Well, what am I supposed to say? I don't know. Ask if he's going tubing or something.
Hey, girls, eat all your breakfast now.
Yes, big brother.
You okay? You need any money or anything?
Back, we're leaving tomorrow.
You're just doing my job. Watch yourself, you hear?
Your brother's so serious.
Dad's always making him watch after us. It can be a real pain. Oh my God, look at Leanne.
Don't mess with me, man. Hey, what do you think you're doing? Hey, Leanne, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. So, you ready to go to the mall?
Oh, yeah. Oh, Brad. Look, I'll see you later, okay? You mind if I join you?
Oh. I feel bad for her. She's been following him around all week and he just ignores her.
Oh, Leslie, phone for you. Thanks, Miss Kim.
I'll meet you at the ponies.
Miranda, she's going to be home tomorrow.
I know that. I just want to make sure she's okay.
Leslie?
Oh, baby, are you having a good time? Yes, Mama. Oh, baby, I miss you so much.
Of course I do.
I was thinking of taking the day off of work to come pick you up. Would you like that?
Mom, I'll be home tomorrow.
Well, if you don't want me to come.
No, Mom, I didn't mean it like that. It's just I'm 15. Mama, I gotta go now. Yes, Mama, I love you too.
Heavenly Way Youth Camp. Hello, Linda. Linda, would you hold on just a second, please? Leslie, can you send Mike up here, please? What's the score?
That's your best? Oh, my leg's here. Come on, is that all you got? Yeah, look at that. I got one leg I can play better than you. Yeah, but you can't walk over here, unfortunately. Fred, give him back. Come on.
Mike, your mom's on the phone.
That was out. Hey, guys, wait for me, okay?
Linda, the girls are fine. Yeah, Mike's having a great time. Even won the leadership prize for the week. Of course I don't mind. He's coming as we speak.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, darling. How y'all doing down there?
We're doing fine, Mom.
That's good. I'll see you and the girls tomorrow evening.
I'm looking forward to home cooking, Mom. Think someone have meatloaf tonight?
Now, hold on. Your father wants to talk to you.
Hello, son. You looking after your sisters?
Yes, sir.
Are you having fun?
Some, I guess.
Good. Good, because we got a lot of work ahead of us before you head off to college.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, I'll see you all tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
I just don't see why you have to be so hard on him all the time.
Man, the boy's got to learn responsibility.
Mike's the most serious kid in his class. You know, it wouldn't hurt to tell me you loved him just once in a while.
He'll survive.
Man, this is jackass dumb. You okay, Scotty? Yeah.
There's Scotty.
Like Scottish, right?
All right, Scotty. Like Great Scott.
Got a little case of leukemia. It's not like I'm sick or anything. Damn tubes in my chest are driving me nuts, man. I think I might rip them out. Oh, man, that's gross. It's chemo, man. Get away from me. Get away. Hey, where you guys been? Hey, watch it, you. Quit bitching, will you?
Yeah, Scotty. Soccer ball.
The soccer ball. And like
You know, because they're on the soccer field right now, right? And these people are dancing and they're getting ready to eat. And he's playing with a soccer ball in his hand in the middle of a building. I mean, possibly, but here's your soccer ball.
Turn
the radio down.
Let them dance. They can't be playing 24 hours a day.
So the boy that got rescued off the tree in '87, he said that he lost his girlfriend and they got into a fight before he could apologize. And apparently she caught him, or he chose to make out with some other girl in the bushes somewhere on the camp. So there's a lot of different things going on in this movie that doesn't kind of come off as what you would think it.
As a Christian,
like
the kids are smoking cigarettes by the tree.
they're smoking cigarettes. You got a kid right here. It's fixing to rain.
Better get back.
Maybe we should start heading back. No, we're almost there. Oh, man. Brother Jamison, my compliments on a truly righteous field trip. Maybe we should start heading back.
So I don't know who wrote this storyline,
It's almost like they were mocking them.
I don't know who wrote the storyline, but you got to ask. I mean, is that what you told the people that happened just before everyone died? Was that y'all were? I mean, who wrote the script?
Some kind of ritual.
Because they're almost reenacting it, but the people aren't here. So how would they be able to say yes or no, or this is what happened? So you know how it's all entertainment. But then when we catch, they get caught making out. The director and them catches them. Because when you go to camp, you go there to make out in the bushes.
At a Christian camp.
At the Christian camp, you got to keep your Bible at the dang barracks.
So it's almost like they were mocking them.
So it's like a mockery,
yeah.
but it's also at the same time, it's how they, get your children and stuff too. They go to the camps. Here we go. Here comes the.
Who's that out there? What's going on here? Leaving the lights against camp rules.
So they caught him.
Get up here, the both of you.
Yada yada yada. We go to something else, right? The bus when they're going towards the water, right when they're getting in the flood. Even the news helicopter catches them on the way there and says, "Look at them buses; they're going right towards it." And then
They happen to just be there.
Right. So we go right here. So now they're caught in the flood, trying to cross a creek. Water's rising up real quick. Now keep in mind they were told don't cross the rivers, and then they did it. In the real life story.
Right.
Water's coming in.
Come on. What's going on? What's the bananas that big? Oh my God.
So right here is mockery, in my opinion. It says Jesus saves, but yet they all end up dead.
Right. And then if you read the article, they say, well, God just wanted them. God just needed them for some reason. He needed them.
You gotta get off the bus. Gotta get all the kids off the bus. Okay, people, listen up. You have to get off the bus. Okay? Come on, kids.
Why there was why they didn't all take the emergency exit and get out and out to safety.
Right.
Through
That's
the back
what
door.
I'm saying. There's more.
Make sure you stick with me, okay?
Maybe they do.
Just get on and walk back to high ground. Everybody, grab hands and form chain. Come on.
halfway down the ropes. Joe! Everybody get to the tree!
All right, we get the drip. What's happening next? In the
But you can watch it, the full movie. It's on YouTube. It's called The Flood. Who Will Save Our Children? Here's the guy right there, the bus driver.
yeah. What? Billy Graham was a spiritual advisor to George Bush.
Yes.
Holy shit!
Yep. And this is just recently. He's still alive.
Yeah.
He was the bus driver.
Just the bus driver.
Richard Coons.
This was 7 years ago, right? This video.
In 1980.
This video right here came out.
Yeah.
I just kept taking in more and more water. And then things started just going kind of gray, black. And I'm like, this is it. This is it. I'm not going to make it. I'm going to drown today.
Doesn't she look like John Benet's mother?
When that wall of water came out, what it did was it stalled our bus pretty quick. And when I looked in the rearview mirror, I saw our van was halfway underwater.
There were kids in the tree, kids around the tree, kids holding on to kids that were holding on to the tree. And that was me. I was holding on to a person who was holding on. We saw the bus lift up and roll over, and it was coming toward our tree. So I knew that it was either get crushed by the bus or let go. So I let go.
They took me to the hospital because they told me that I needed to come into a room because they thought that Lavonda had passed away and that I needed to identify her body. And so pulled back the sheet. Maybe it was shock, but I said, yeah, that's her. And then they said, has your wife ever had surgery? And I said, yeah, she had knee surgery. So they needed to pull the sheet back. And they did. There were no scars. And it was the young lady who was at our tree who had the similar body type to Lavonda. And she got up over the trees and couldn't hold on.
That was 7 years ago.
One of the things that we learned together, Lavonda and I, these last 30 years since we were in that event, you know what we learned? There's power in prayer.
And people say, now, how do you get through something like that? Faith, family, and friends. And I remember thinking, I remember looking back now and thinking, not one moment did I worry about where I would spend eternity. It was just, it's just something I'll never forget. You know, it's become, unfortunately, it's become a part of our life. And when I say unfortunate, because there is pain there. But fortunately, because of that incident in our life, God has used it to bring so many people to Christ.
So, since he's still alive, maybe we'll get some answers out of that. What really happened?
Right.
Possibly. Where's that video where the kids are crossing this time over the bridge in the bus.
Oh, do you got it?
Yeah.
Yeah, send it
Go
to
ahead
me.
and
I'll
read
go ahead and
that.
read this. So Camp Mystic. Disaster plan approved 2 days before Central Texas flood. It killed dozens. I don't know why it says killed dozens. It was like, what was it?
They keep changing all the numbers. Each
Dozens
station
is-
has different numbers. They don't even have the numbers
Where
right.
is this? July 9, 2025. Texas inspectors verified that Camp Mystic had a written emergency plan just 2 days before the devastating flood killed more than 24. More than that. At the all-girls Christian camp. Okay. Maybe just at the camp, but up and down the stream. But
Yeah.
so most of them were children. 5 children. 1 counselor remains missing. Records released Tuesday show that the camp met state regulations for disaster procedures, but details of the plan remain unclear. Despite warnings from the National Weather Service, Camp Mystic did not relocate its more than 650 campers and staff. So again, we go back to, did they learn from 1987 or did they repeat the same mistakes? But Camp Mystic disaster plans, 5 years of inspection reports released to the Associated Press do not offer any details of disaster plans at the camp, raising new questions about its preparedness ahead of the torrential July 4th rainfall and flood-prone Texas Hill Country. The Department of so there's been a failure on so many levels. The way they react to these things, they put the one fire department in Austin had people ready to go way before any flash flood, and
Right.
they were told to stand down. So here we have a plan. The Department of State Health Services released records Tuesday showing the camp complied with a host of state regulations regarding procedures to be implemented in case of a disaster. Among them, instructing campers what to do if they need to evacuate and assigning specific duties to each staff member and counselor. The Texas Administrative Code lays out youth camp licensing requirements. There's no specific requirement involving weather radios or any mention of flooding specifically, but a written disaster plan is required. The plan isn't required to be submitted to the state, but must be posted on site. So National Weather Service warnings as early as 3:30. There's your, I don't know what's up with the 33. Yeah, it's always seems to be. So on July 3rd, more than 24 hours earlier, the National Weather Service warned potential isolated flooding right there 24 hours before.
Yes.
So that afternoon at about 2:30 p.m., more than 12 hours before the floods, it issued an official flood watch for the western portions of the Hill Country, including Kerr. So the people that are blaming Trump, the leftists that are saying that Doge took money from the National Weather Service and that's what killed people in Texas. That's not the case, because they were given 24 hours to 12-hour notices.
Right. And then right here it says around 3:30, the Kerrville city manager Dalton Rice said he was out for an early morning jog along the Guadalupe River at 3:30 in the morning.
So, okay, let me pull that up. You got it? Put it at the bottom. So we got as early as 3:30 right here in this article was what she's pointing out. And then we go down to right here around 3:30 a.m. The damn Dalton manager said he was out for an early morning jog at 3:30.
3:30, yeah.
And Dalton Rice is the same last name as the helicopter pilot in 1987 that was saving the children. His last name was Rice.
Well, he supposedly ran out of gas.
Right. Saving the
And
one girl.
They dropped the girl and it killed her. Or she let go, as they said. She couldn't hold on to the rope.
So Dalton Rice, the manager, said he was out for an early morning jog, because that's what you do at 3:30 in the morning. Not saying people don't. out for an early morning jog along the Guadalupe River and saw not a drop of rain. According to Patrick, who recounted that his conversation with the city manager, Rice added that he left around 4 a.m. when there was very, very light rain. We did not see any signs of the river rising at that time. At 4:06 a.m., the National Weather Service Austin San Antonio posted on X that a very dangerous flash flooding event is ongoing. It ended. Turn around. Don't drown. It ended.
It ended, yes. And here, I'm sending you the timeline. There you go.
All right. So the city of Savannah asked the residents to conserve water as its pump stations was in jeopardy of going underwater. This comes hours after a similar request by Kerrville. Again, remember we went over the definition of Kerr? Yes. Means swamp, marshland. Kerrville officials. So at 7:15 p.m., Kerrville and Kerr County informed KXAN that reporters at Kerrville City Hall that their 7 p.m. press conference has been canceled. Those officials said that they will instead speak at the governor's 9 p.m. presser. Was it that day or what?
This is the timeline. Did you start? Right
Oh,
here,
no.
8:30? Down at the bottom, right. That's the whole timeline.
Oh, okay. You want me to start? Okay, so 4:06. Here we got Texas flood. We have 2 dams on the Guadalupe River were opened. That's why we've seen that flow rate like it was.
Yeah,
you just heard the city manager talk about, and this might have been the case also in North Carolina as well.
Yes.
There seems to be a lot of, even in here in Texas, we had Hurricane Harvey where it rained here for a week straight. Kind of felt like Forrest Gump in Vietnam, marching through the rice fields, flooded rice fields. And the water came up all the way up to our house. But they opened the dam during the rain, so that everyone downstream got screwed. I mean, apartments. I mean, whoever lived along the river got flooded out. A lot of people died. So Stark Dam is closer to Kerrville, Texas, where Christian Camp was located, but we're not opened until 10 p.m. Friday night. The flood came around 1 to 4 a.m. Friday morning. It appears both dams were opened at the same time. One person tweeted. Are y'all getting that? Seeing a pattern. So what they do what they should do is in advance, days in advance, start open the dams to let some of that water out. If there's a lake,
not
drain it at it as low as you can without causing any harm downstream for a few days. Close it so when it rains, you can hold that water and then let it out later after the water from the rain and downstream has passed, and then open it a few days later, safely draining downstream. But instead, that doesn't seem to be the plan. I may be wrong, but here we can have it right here. I'll read it again. Texas flood, 2 dams on Guadalupe River were opened. Wirtz and Stark dams. Stark Dam is closer to Kerrville, Texas, where the Christian camp was located, but were not opened until 10 p.m. Friday night. Why were they not open until 10 p.m. Friday night?
Exactly.
Knowing that the storm was coming Saturday. Mm-hmm. So the flood came 1 to 4 a.m. Friday morning. It appears both dams were opened at the same time. One person tweeted. Stark Dam and Wirtz Dam each have multiple gates open now, according to the LCRA. That was at 8:30 p.m. LCRA said it anticipates holding the floodwater in Lake Travis, which is about 43 feet below, and does not expect to open floodgates at Mansfield Dam, which forms Lake Travis. So we got 8 p.m. KXAN has learned that the Stark Dam will open its floodgates soon, and that Wirtz has opened its second floodgate. 8 p.m.
That's why you saw that push, that show.
And this is it.
It was really fast.
Yeah, you seen at the front we showed last night how it started, and then how the speed of the water sped up, the flow rate, which kind of feels like it's a controlled flow.
Yes.
It was a controlled flow. at a certain so many gallons per minute, or however they measure it, the flow rate. So the Lower Colorado River Authority said it opened a floodgate at Wirtz Dam to release storm runoff from the Liano River. It also said it may need to open additional floodgates at Wirtz and start dams. KXAN meteorologist Freddie Vila said that when this happens, the water level downstream of the dams will rise rapidly. He also noted that the Lino River and the San Sabia River are now cresting over their banks, making it more likely that additional gates will need to be opened. The city of Sabia asked residents to conserve waters at pump stations was in jeopardy of going underwater. This comes hours after a similar request by Kerrville officials. Okay, Jeopardy, Kerrville, Curve. We went through this one. Yep, that's it, right?
Yep, and then we're done.
Where?
We'll just
Oh.
give it.
So look up the meaning of the word Guadalupe. If you look up the meaning of the word Guadalupe, it means valley or river of wolves. It swept away the sheep. They kept emphasizing Christian girls, right?
Yep. And at the bottom is the video of it crossing the road.
Oh, right down here. I'll pull that up real quick. Let me finish that article. So, go back. So here we are with the 3:30. As early as 3:30 a.m. on July 3rd, more than 24 hours earlier, the National Weather Service warned potential isolating flood. That afternoon, 2:30, more than 12 hours before the floods, it issued an official flood watch for western portions of the Hill Country, including Kirk County. It forecasted 1 to 3 inches of rain was possible. But it also warned it couldn't rule out the chance isolated areas would see as much as 5 to 7 inches. So those are even lower numbers. Yeah. So that
Should have played the video.
I will in a second. That danger prompted at least one of the roughly 18 camps along the Guadalupe River to move dozens of campers to higher ground. Camp Mystic, established in 1926, in this article, did not do that and was especially hard hit when the river rose from 14 feet to 30 feet within 60 minutes. In the early morning hours of the disaster, flooding on that stretch of the Guadalupe starts at about 10 feet. You want to show that video right here? So this time the school bus makes it across.
Yes. But they're saying that Camp Mystic was destroyed, but
My friend, this happiness that I found. Depend on it. It matters not where you're bound. I'll shout it from the mountain tops. Praise God, I want my world to know. The Lord of love has come to me. I want to pass it on. I'll shout it from the mountain tops. Praise God, I want my world to know. The Lord of love has come to me. I want to pass it on.
Is that what they said?
they said Great Scott.
The Mexicans have opened up a flea market at Alligator Alcatraz. They can't be stopped.
Okay. Hey guys, it's a flea market at Alligator Alcatraz. I'm sure the prices are really cheap.
Down at the bottom.
All right, hold on. You have me all over the place. I can't. I'm trying to finish this article. Hold on one second. Let me go. So at Camp Mystic, it's the 19th. So the first flash flood warning came at. Did they say Great Scott on that?
They said Great Scott.
Wow. While they were singing that song.
Yes.
No way.
Yes. It's a great setup.
So, where'd it go? Sorry. So the first flash flood warning came at about 11:42, just before midnight, for Medina, Texas, just south of Kerr County, urging people that they're to move more immediately to higher ground. So this was around midnight, close to midnight. So by 1:14 a.m., flash flood warnings went out to Ingram and Hunt, as well as where several summer camps, including Camp Mystic, are located. Again, the warnings urged people to seek a higher ground. So there's a lot of more camps other than that one, you know, like the one where Ted Cruz's daughter was just at.
And there was another senator
A week ago.
But his daughter was there too.
So it wasn't until 3 a.m., nearly 2 hours after the warning was issued, that it hit 10 feet with the NOAA labels its minor flooding stage. It also marks the action stage, the level at which NOAA says when reached by a rising stream, some type of mitigation becomes necessary to prepare for possibly significant activity. From there, the river surge. A wall of water overwhelmed people in cabins, tents, and trailers along the river's edge. Some survivors were found clinging to trees. Wow. Okay, so they had a flash flood warning 12 hours before, 24 hours before, and you got people down by the river's edge still?
Right. And some survivors described
Why
it
would
as
you
a
have
pitch black wall of death. See how the news does that?
So why would you have people on the river's edge if there's a flash flood warning?
Exactly.
So survivors have described the floods as a pitch black wall of death, and they said they received no emergency warnings. Officials have to come under.
Well, they wouldn't. They don't have.
Of course, you're not going to have any warnings because you don't have your damn phone on you.
I know.
Right?
Only
the camp counselors would get the notifications if they had their phones.
Yes.
But as far as the campers, they wouldn't have anything.
They're not allowed.
So officials have come under scrutiny about why residents in youth camps along the river were not alerted sooner than 4 a.m. or told to evacuate. Officials noted that the public can grow wary from too many flooding alerts or forecasts that turn out to be minor. So Kerr County Judge Rob Kelly said authorities were shocked by the ferocity of the floods. We had no reason to believe that this was going to be anything like what's happened here. Of course, because it's not the weather. It's probably the floodgates got opened.
That's right. Because they opened two. They were going to open some more.
Yeah. So none whatsoever. So that's why they're just blown away.
That's why they shouldn't even have dams. That's ridiculous.
So Kelly told CBS Evening News the potential for heavy rains had put precautions in motion as the state activated an emergency response plan and moved resources into Central Texas area. Camp Mystic inspection and accreditation. The state inspected Camp Mystic on July 2nd. The same day, the Texas Division of Emergency Management activated emergency response resources ahead of the anticipated flooding. So they even inspected it 2 days, and they had a plan. That's something's not making sense here. Then, so it's like business as usual, right? So everything's going, they're getting their thing, got their plan, and then boom. It's like getting punched in the face. Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face. So the inspection found no deficiencies or violations at the camp, and a long list of health and safety criteria. As DSHS inspector signed off on the inspection, noting yes to this 3 criteria questions. They have the required emergency plan. Is there a written plan and procedures to be implemented in case of a disaster, serious accident, epidemic, or fatality formulated and posted in the camp's administrative on-site office or location? Yes. Are all camp staff and volunteers made aware of the planned emergency to be implemented during the staff training program or volunteer briefing? Yes. Is there documentation of this training kept at the camp's administration on-site office or location? Yes. Is the camp ready for the dams upstream to be opened and a big wall of death come downriver? No. That's not what it says, but I added that.
You added that. I was going to say, well, I don't see that.
But that sounds good, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not. They wouldn't have been ready for
Basically, yeah.
somebody opening the floodgates on them. They don't have no control over that. So the camp had 557 campers and more than 100 staffers at the time between its Guadalupe and Cypress Lake locations. Camp Mystic did not respond to requests from the Associated Press for comment on its emergency plan. The camp notes that it's licensed by the state and a member of the Camping Association for Mutual Progress, which says its goal is to raise health and safety standards for summer camps. Leaders of that association didn't return messages. The American Camp Association said Tuesday that Camp Mystic is not accredited with that organization, whose standards focus on safety and risk management. Spokesperson Lauren McMillan declined to say whether the camp previously had been accredited with the association, which describes itself as the only nationwide accredited organization for all year round and summer camps. Okay, so did they not learn from history?
According to this article, no. I want you to do this.
So in a statement on its website, the camp said it had been in communication with local and state authorities who are tirelessly deploying extensive resources to search for our missing girls. Among the dead was Richard Dick Eastland, the camp's beloved director, described by campers as the father figure.
This one. But read the title. It says, Flying Above Camp Mystic, 27 children remain missing from Christian summer camp. Camp Mystic, where hundreds of young girls had to be airlifted to security.
Safety.
But they're saying it. Let's see. It says the camp has been completely destroyed by the floodwaters. And it's not.
Right.
As you can see, you'll see the aerial view. There should still be water, or at least, right?
Well, it depends on when the shot it recedes. Well, it depends on when they shut the gates. You need to check the time and see what time if they ever shut the floodgates, and when that happened, did the water go down right after?
But this is Camp Mystic. Aerial view.
Also, this camp is located on the 33rd degree parallel. 3003 or 303. Wait.
And this video was
30333.
3 days ago. So the day after, right?
The buildings are still there. You can still see them all right here. Here's the camps, but the river looks like it's right here. And why would you put them down here instead of up here?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
You put them down along the floodplain. This is a marsh. It's called Kerrville for a reason.
Yes.
Especially after 1987.
Yeah, you think after that they would have moved it up more. You see this right here, it looks like they were doing something here.
Mining
something.
Using the dirt for something.
See all the dirt and
they're digging it out. We're all right here as a wall, and then they process it. It looks like maybe they're using it on site. Maybe they're mining their own.
But anyways, there's all the cabins at Camp Mystic. Look all intact to me. There's the river right there.
Yeah, that's pretty good shape for that way that there would be trees all along in this area right here.
Yes.
All up against it. This
all
probably
the
would.
Trees are intact.
You should go downstream.
Yeah, they're saying it got wiped out. It's not wiped out at all.
No, it's still there. It's looking pretty debris free up there.
Yeah.
Cars are still in the park. This is.
Yeah, they have cars there and everything.
Is this recent?
Yeah, that was 3 days ago. That's Camp Mystic, all that right there.
Okay, here we go. See it zoomed out. Now we're seeing it on this side of it.
Mm-hmm.
Going along up here. Cars are good. This is where the people that were singing, they came through here and I think I seen them drive past and look at this, so that they pulled into this spot right here. I don't know what it is with singing after floods, but they sang after the flood or right before the flood or during the flood. If you go look at Galveston history, the orphanage, or they had all the kids in it, they all sang about the flood as before or during it happening.
Yes.
They sang.
And in the movie, the kids were singing too. There's something with that.
Here we see the damage on this end of it. Where were the kids at, though? Their camps would be on the other side where we just seen it, right?
Well,
in those buildings, why would they be down here?
Well,
along the edge.
That's why I wanted you to show the picture. Unless it was further downstream, the ones that actually got flooded, but Camp Mystic obviously didn't.
Looks like it went right through here.
Bit, but it wasn't wiped away like the news is saying. There's people driving right there.
Yeah, state trooper right there. Okay. So these trees are still all good. This is what it does in the path. You can see how the destruction, but it looks pretty good up here. Would have came right through here. There's a couple little houses, little campsites right here,
those are the cabins.
But they're fine.
They're all fine. There's not even standing water anywhere.
So the water did drop.
Mm-hmm.
Tremendously. You see the debris field?
Yeah, over there.
Yeah, way over here. Along this way. So basically, if you're downstream from a dam, you need to have a plan. And you need to pay attention to what they're doing at these dams, not putting on how they manage the water downstream. Needs to be relooked at. Because I know they do releases downstream.
Yeah, see the water right there? Oh.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, all up here. Just see right here. Right here.
Oh, that looks fine there.
And then it just came around. So where would they be if people... Right here? Was there somebody over here?
Yep.
And it's gone? Is that what they're saying?
No.
Was there maybe something here? Now it's gone? Because
maybe.
See the debris field?
Yeah, there's a little bit of
Debris field.
They're like it hit. Like, that doesn't even make sense. This is all perfectly fine, and then there's a little bit
Like
of
a little
debris
flow.
right
It came up a little bit. You can tell where the trash is. The debris right here, up against the tree. You'll see that debris.
Like it hit, like something hit down in certain spots, right? Like maybe it was more than just the water. Huh?
See the debris right here. So this is more, looks like up on the cliff or up on elevation. Is that what I'm seeing?
This aerial views from what, Channel 4?
Yeah, that one didn't do too good. Those two little buildings right there at the edge.
What does it say? Okay.
Why is it blinking like that? Is that the
Their camera or something.
storage building still held up?
Yeah, see, it looks like
When the water comes through there,
place.
it just
Doesn't look
everything
right.
starts floating out the door. All right, I'm good.
And where was that from?
Hill Country flooding disaster flying
but
above
it
Misty
was
Camp. Can't miss.
right here. It
Oh,
was
News 4, San
It's from
Antonio.
News 4. Yeah.
Another building. This looks like a gymnasium type looking. The whole went right through there. Place something up here. Got somebody walking right there. There's a looks like an above floor, and then a
And a
bottom
basement.
floor. Looks like a basement under this. But it didn't wipe it out. It's still there.
Slowly to breathe. It looked like some kind of wind, something came out and hit certain spots, huh?
Yeah. All right. We good?
Yeah. I wanted to show those pictures. So there's like a military helicopter, it looks like. They're getting the kids in there.
Kids right here
Yeah.
coming off the military.
And then see this right here? See how the boxes are just stacked perfectly on top of each other? Like it almost looks staged.
That's because he is. Look.
Yeah.
He's carrying it
But
that way.
it's all clean. All the boxes are clean. The canoe's clean. There's no mud, no nothing.
Right.
And the next one. And then all that looks
like a yard sale at this point.
It's all clean. It's not.
They scattered everything out.
Yeah, it looks staged. See, even the mattress, or it looks like
they're all
mattresses,
stacked up already.
They're all clean. Yeah, it looks like they're cleaning it out. Maybe looking through it. I'm not sure.
Right. That's it, ain't it?
Yep, that's it.
Cool. So, look at the floodgates. You got flows like this at that rate, and the guy said he was jogging at 3:30 in the morning. It was light rain, and then you get a 30-foot wall of water coming down a few hours later.
Right. Oh, go back to that. It said something about the pump station.
Yeah.
See, at 7:35, the city of San Saba asked residents to conserve water as its pump station is in jeopardy and going underwater. That was the Lino River there.
Yeah. So you got Billy Graham Rapid Response Team. Chaplains deployed to Central Texas following historic flooding.
Right. Yeah,
Same thing with North Carolina.
On the spot during the floods, right?
Yeah. What?
Oh, this just shows he was a Freemason.
Again, we got it, the 33rd degree Mason, Harry Truman and Lyndon B. Johnson, Masonic handshake, right? Billy Graham, he was the spiritual advisor for Bush.
Yeah.
Skull and Bones.
See the Masonic handshake.
Handshake. And then we have him showing up on the scene here as we just connected the Mystic camp to the Freemasonic lodges, I guess you would say. Billy Graham's role as a church leader was led to lead people towards the Roman Catholic Church and a one world religion, the New World Order. In that regard, that's why it's
going to be Christian.
Right.
Part of the New World Order. It's not the original Christianity, which is Christian, came from the Vatican. Christianity, the Council of Nicaea.
Yeah. You don't want to read this?
Yeah, read on.
So in that regard, his real motives were not aligned with the Bible itself, but with Freemasonry and the agenda of the Roman Catholic Church. So that might sound crazy for some readers, but what you will see in this post is evidence of Billy Graham being a Freemason, evidence of his connection to the Vatican Catholic Church, evidence that he was promoting a one world religion, quotes from his book Angels, where he promotes the false alien narrative, links Billy Graham and MK Ultra, and that's it.
Yeah, it was just
that was it.
Yeah, I got that one one's from Heidi. That's all she.
Oh, okay. This is from Watch the Water. What is this?
That's how he's connected to Henry E. Butts.
And Butts is
HEB.
Oh, HEB.
Mm-hmm. Who also helped fund some of the stuff at Camp Mystic.
Billy Graham, the Freemason, though he never publicly acknowledged it, Billy Graham was a 33rd degree Freemason. This is not a matter of opinion, because it is in fact stated very clearly in the Freemasons' own history book. In this book by Freemasonry authority Albert Glacian Mackey, the following commentary is presented by the publisher on the inside flap: George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, John Hancock, Mark Twain, Henry Ford, Billy Graham, Arnold Palmer, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, Franz Joseph Haydn, Voltaire, Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, Tony Blair, all are Freemasons. All right, there we go. Is that it?
That's it.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Make sure we got all this. We did that. Oh, let me do this real quick. Just to show I'm glad I put this up here because I've been wanting to do this for 3 days.
Walt Disney theme parks are completely.
You're gonna be like, Sheepdog, what the hell are you bringing as Disney? And what the hell are you bringing Mickey Mouse on my screen for like that? Don't you know that's satanic? Yeah, but I want to show you something about the economy and what the media is telling you, what politicians are telling you, and then what's actually taking place. But on 4th of July, the parks were empty. Well, what does that tell you about your economy? Right? People can't afford to go to the parks. Usually they should be packed. Right? So here it is.
Or they heard about Disney.
Yeah, it's kind of a normal day here today, but this is the 4th of July. This is historically one of the biggest, packed days here. Now, it's possible that people might show up later tonight for the fireworks, but that doesn't do Disney much good because people that are showing up just for the fireworks are coming in, watching fireworks, and leaving. They're not spending money on drinks. They're not spending money on food. They're not spending money on merchandise. They're just coming in and taking off. So the meat of the money that they're going to make today comes from right here, right in the middle of the day,
Keep in mind, this is where Club 33 is.
Where Tiana's Bayou Adventure has got a 30-minute wait, where the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, and I have never seen this before in my life, they have a sign outside the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique that says walk-up opportunities available today.
Holy moly, folks. What that means is that the things that typically you can't even get a reservation for, they're walk-ups today. Anything you want to do, you can do it at the Magic Kingdom. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Get over to the happiest place on earth. Marvin, I want to walk through memory lane for a moment and tell people what it's really like historically at Disney World for the 4th of July. And then hopefully everybody can understand the kind of crisis we are looking at. And by the way, folks, what you got to know is, and we're going to talk about this more in some videos over the weekend, if this is how grim it is for Disney executives on the 4th of July, my, oh my, what is it going to be like in the middle of July? What is it going to be like in August? If it's this empty on one of the biggest days of the year. Okay, let me tell folks what it's been like historically, and I've been going to Disney World for decades and decades and decades, hundreds, maybe thousands of times. Okay, the 4th of July, let's go back to the 90s. I remember when there were phased closures that happened, and you had to rush to get to the Magic Kingdom as early as you could on a holiday, but especially on the 4th of July, because as capacity was reached, what Disney would do is they would begin limiting it to, let's say, we're going to close down the parking lot. I think that was phase 1. Phase 2 was we're going to limit it to just hotel guests at Disney. Phase 3, if I remember correctly, I believe was only those who are staying on the monorail resorts can enter. And then phase 4 was we are completely at capacity, nobody in. And what that looked like, everybody, was it looked like shoulder to shoulder, you could not hardly move. I'm not telling you it was a good thing. I'm just trying to tell you this is what it used to be like on the 4th of July. And today, it looks like it's, middle of September during a school day. Now, Marvin, I want to ask you a couple of things about this.
Sure.
First of all the video that folks are seeing right now, this was shot today. You have been videoing this today. And I'm just curious, are there any pockets of crowds? Any pockets around Magic Kingdom where you can find a lot of people?
There are some. I mean, like right when they form periodically because like a character cavalcade goes by. When that's gone, obviously you have an influx of people in the street. Over in the hub, I mean, you've got a couple of clumps of people there, but then you walk into Liberty Square, you walk into Frontierland, and it's just wide open spaces. So people are kind of converging, I think, around the hub, those that are here, and then you're seeing things like Tiana's Bayou Adventure having a 30-minute wait, right in the middle of the day. And then you've also got, I walked up to the Be Our Guest restaurant, and I said, hey, do you guys have any availability today? Like, pretending I was interested, because I didn't want to, I'm not interested in spending $100 a plate for, the food they have there. And they were like, oh, yeah, absolutely. You want to come in? Like, they were like, please. But yeah, there's availability at one of the biggest restaurants here today on the 4th of July.
Right. And we're not trying to poo-poo Disney here, folks. We're not trying to be negative Nancy's. We're not trying to be mean. We're just trying to tell you this is something you probably won't see in the legacy access media. There are so few out there who actually want to cover this thing. But folks, lest you believe for a moment that Marvin or I would mislead you, I got to show you, you can verify this yourself. Now, we don't know what it's going to be like later in the day when this video releases, but folks, if you look at what we're seeing right now, I'm on wdwpassport.com, wait times, Magic Kingdom. Right now, the Barnstormer is 15 minutes, Astro Orbiter 30 minutes, Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin, 15 minutes, that might be a walk-on. Dumbo is a walk-on, Haunted Mansion is 30 minutes, It's a Small World is a walk-on. Jungle Cruise is 45 minutes, Mad Tea Party is a walk-on, 10 minutes is how long the ride lasts, you can just walk straight on. Magic Carpets of Aladdin, same thing. Winnie the Pooh is a walk-on. It's at 20 minutes. I mean, that ride's usually at an hour. Folks, look at this. Just look at this. Seven Dwarfs Mine Ride is under an hour on the 4th of July. The Journey of Little Mermaid is a walk-on. Tomorrowland Speedway is a walk-on. This is nuts. And lest you claim that we are trying to game the system, go to Epcot. Same exact thing, even with Ratatouille down. You go to Hollywood Studios, it's empty. Everything is green. Animal Kingdom has nothing to do. Look, folks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 actual rides are open at Animal Kingdom. The wait times are still 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It is a ghost town at Disney on the 4th of July. That is what is happening, folks. Don't let the legacy access dinosaur media confuse you. Don't let the pixie dusters confuse you and tell you No, it's not true. See it with your own eyes, folks. Marvin, walk us through. What is causing this?
Well, I mean, first of all, the prices are out of control. I mean, they are, I forget who said it, but someone said they're addicted to price hikes. And that's true. And I think they've priced out the average American family. I think that people are going over to Epic Universe a lot more than they were before.
So Walt Disney lost its magic, right? I think the spell is broken.
The spell has been lifted. Or the economy's not as good as they say it is.
They do that too, which is breaking the spell. So.
Right. So that's why I wanted to show that. That could be a sign of something. I don't know what it is, good or bad, but when people don't have the money to go to the parks, that says a lot, doesn't it?
Right. And,
or can't afford the tickets, or maybe they...
Trump, when he was giving that speech today, had mentioned McKinley and Roosevelt again, so it looks like the economy piece is fixing to come up.
We also said the gas was $1.99.
Yeah, and it's not.
Okay. Oh no, like today he said that again today. So it went from $1.98 to $1.99. But anyways, so there's really a lot going on in that Kerrville area with that whole situation.
Yeah, I'm trying to find out.
I hope it doesn't get swept under the rug, kind of like the North Carolina situation where everyone just went silent all of a sudden and moved on with their lives.
Right. When you still need to get to the bottom of that one.
Right.
And how many people actually did die there, if you know what I'm saying. And the numbers kept fluctuating. Same thing here. The numbers keep fluctuating. We don't know the story, but we know there were kids that died in 1987. And there was another one before that same place in 1930. I haven't dug into that one yet, but 3 cabins were totally wiped out back in the 1930s. So
right,
there's a history there, and it's camps for children. So we've got to find out what happened.
What are open? That should be it. Unless y'all want to hear the clip of Ted Cruz talking about. Let's go ahead and end it. Here's Ted Cruz real quick, just to add to this. It's kind of weird, but it's right here. Show it on the screen. Here we go.
As of 8:30 this morning, we recovered 75 deceased bodies here in Kirk County, including 48 adults and 27 children. Of this 48 adults and 27 children, 15 adults and 9 children are pending identification. At present, there are 10 campers from Camp Mystic unaccounted for and 1 counselor. We continue to offer our condolences to those affected. Reuniting the families remain our top priority here on this operation.
Please. Now, we're only focused on the Kirk County side, but we wanted to talk about that because
this is the guy that was running at 3:30 in the morning or going out for a jog, said it was light rain.
Yep.
Here from Hunt all the way to Comal County in a straight line distance is over 100 kilometers. This is a massive field that is happening. And again, this is unprecedented flood events.
The children, little girls who were lost at Camp Mystic. That's every parent's nightmare. Every mom and dad. Last week, we were picking up our daughter from camp here in Hunt.
He just picked his daughter up a week before. Maybe it's just good luck, on his part.
Our girls have gone to camp here for a decade. And I think this is not a time for partisan finger pointing and attacks. Now, after we come through search and rescue, after we come through the process of rebuilding, there will naturally be a period of retrospection where you look back and say, okay, what exactly transpired? What was the timeline? And what could have been done differently to prevent this loss of life? And that
We should have did that in 1987. After 1987, since this kind of happens quite often.
Right.
It's not every 100, 500, 1,000
No.
year thing. This is kind of just happened within
30 years ago,
3
and
decades
then-
ago. You should have. There was warnings.
it's a natural process. I think it should not.
So when you keep repeating the same mistakes over and over, it's called insanity at this point,
And nothing changes.
and nothing changes because we just sweep it under the rug until the next disaster.
Right, like
And then
just
the
like
next-
the 1987 flood. I never even heard of it. I hadn't heard of it. And they even said that the plaque with the kids that had passed away, you can't even find it. We had clear through some brushes. It's like hidden, which is sad.
So he picked up his daughter a week before the floods, and then he's in Greece.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Right.
So it's like the bills they pass and all the bullshit they pass down to us doesn't apply to them. It's like they're living the lifestyle that most people would love to be living in. The inflation, gas prices, cost of housing, the cost of living, healthcare, et cetera, et cetera. It must be nice to go out and tour the world. I wonder if he's got his real ID and his passport. He got all that stuff, right? I'm sure. Here we go. Sightseeing in Greece. He went 24 hours after the floods. He went to Greece. So at least one witness recognized Cruz and confronted him. 20 kids dead in Texas and you take a vacation? The witness asked him according to the Daily Beast, right? Cruz grunted in response while his wife Heidi shot them a dirty look, the witness added. Right. He could have gotten there sooner, but apparently waited a few flights later. He was on a pre-planned vacation with his family when the floods struck early. So he got his daughter out of there. She got
a week before
the floods, went on vacation to Greece. Okay, well, and this goes all the way back to, again, like I said earlier, when he took a vacation to Cancun during the.
Not anything new.
No,
He
he's
seems
kind
to
of
be repeating this a lot.
He seems to do that quite
I
often.
mean, how many other ones would do that? Right? Take off right during the storm.
So you sign a big beautiful bill, and then they all go on vacation. Ain't that just some crazy shit?
Mm-hmm.
You sign the bill.
Or we're all like struggling.
You sign the bill. 80% of Americans living paycheck to paycheck, and then you go send your daughter to camp. Then you take her on vacation to Greece. I mean, damn. Can you be that out of touch? Do you think you really should have deserved a vacation?
No, you should be down there finding out what happened, what's going on, all that. You know?
Boy, they were on a strict timeline. So he had a pre-planned vacation, so he knew that everything was going to be set in motion with the big beautiful bill. It was going to pass, apparently, because he was able to schedule his vacation. Oh, and he has his Texas mask on, coming back from Mexico, trying to hide his identity.
Yeah, that was 4 years ago.
There's now a backlash after Texas Senator Ted Cruz left his state in the middle of this emergency to go on vacation in Cancun. The images were everywhere today, showing the Texas senator with his family boarding that flight to Mexico. The senator's team even asking Houston police in the middle of the emergency to help escort the senator at the Houston airport. Senator Cruz is now returning home tonight. How he's explaining himself, and ABC's Trevor Hall from Houston tonight.
With Texas reeling and millions of his constituents without power or water, Texas Senator Ted Cruz jetted off to sunny Cancun with his family. Cameras catching him at the airport Those pictures making headlines in his storm-ravaged state.
Senator Ted Cruz made time for a family vacation in the middle of our state's historic winter storm.
This is quite maddening.
Well, he had to get out of there. They only had so many flights to get out of there.
Senator Cruz in Cancun while we're dealing with this mess.
Just Monday, Cruz warned his fellow.
Most of Houstonians couldn't afford to get a flight out of here.
And he has no security or anything? It didn't look like it.
Texans, a dangerous storm was coming, and urging them to stay home.
We could see up to 100 people lose their lives this week in Texas, so don't risk it. Keep your family safe and just stay home and hug your kids.
Of course, the senator didn't stay home himself. 2 days later, he was off to Mexico. The Houston Police Department, which was grappling with the natural disaster, says a member of the Cruz team called in, quote, requested assistance for the senator at the airport. Meanwhile, in Galveston, Randall Hall was shivering inside his house at just 42 degrees.
It appears that yesterday Senator Ted Cruz flew to Cancun. How do you feel about that?
He can stay there, actually.
Yeah, you don't need him back?
We don't need him back in Houston or in the U.S. Senate, no.
Today, Democrats like the mayor of Houston were unsparing.
Well, it's certainly much warmer where he's going. Let me just put it like that.
And the Republican governor was at a loss for words.
Candidly, I haven't been following people's vacation plans. We've been working literally all night.
It took hours for the Cruz team to acknowledge he had flown to Cancun. The senator saying in a statement, with school canceled for the week, our girls asked to take a trip with friends. Wanting to be a good dad, I flew down with them last night and am flying back this afternoon. Late today, cameras caught Cruz pulling a suitcase through Cancun International Airport, heading home.
Yesterday, my daughters asked if they could take a trip with some friends, and Heidi and I agreed, so I flew down with them last night, dropped them off here, and now I'm headed back to Texas and back to continuing to work to try to get the power on.
So let's get to Trevor Old live in Houston tonight. Trevor, you reported there Senator Cruz in his
right
house
here,
at just 40.
you see everything was frozen.
Yeah.
We don't get snow or anything freezing like this. It was pretty cold, and pipes busted. They told everybody on the news to don't run your tap water, and a lot of people listened to the news, and a lot of people's pipes busted, which caused the backup in copper and all kinds of other things, and
2 degrees.
It appears
power
that
out.
yesterday Senator
Some
Ted
people didn't
Cruz
have
flew to
generators,
Cancun.
Yeah, it was cold.
but that's it.
Well, for in Texas, it was cold.
That's old Teddy Cruz for you. But that's all we got. But guys, we thank you for the prayers. We thank you for the support. Thank you for being here. We look forward to being back on tomorrow. Same time, same channel.
Good night, everyone.
Have a good night. I'm going to play this Storm song again that Linda wrote. I think it's pretty good. Closing out. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
Texas soil beneath your feet held every hope deep. Now shattered streets cry back your name for wreckage piled in silence steep. No warning came, just rising flood, and when that wailed through broken stone, we traced your steps in water's path and found the truth beyond their wrath. Who paid the clouds to come so soon? Who wrote that thunder's cruel tune? We bury the fall and raise the truth, and hell won't silence what we knew. You don't see the sky and call it care when silver leaves the land threadbare. They whispered science into the air, then blamed the wind and disappeared. This rain ain't holy, it's haunts a storm, don't lie, but men do. And the water didn't weep, it roared with the voices it ran through. This wasn't nature. Nature's fierce, but she don't silence us like that. She doesn't take fathers, mothers, children, and leave us tracing their names in the mud. This flood came paid for, planned, and what it took we can never get back. You didn't just move the clouds, you moved the line between life and death. You took voices, laughter, futures. You took lives that can never be replaced. You left your fingerprints in the flood, your silence won't shield you. We know. And we won't let go. And we remember every face, every name. Just look at what you did. Who paid the clouds to come so fast? Who penned murder in the forecast? We mourn, we march, we make it right. Truth rides the storm tonight. We lit candles on driftwood altars, raised prayers louder than thunder, and we vow beneath this floodline's mark, you won't wash away the truth, not this time. Look what you did. You don't mess with Texas. You don't mess with any of us. You didn't break us, you exposed yourself. Look what you did. You'll answer for it.